Well, hundreds of students in Montreal have joined a pro-Palestinian protest movement started in the U.S., setting up an encampment at McGill University.
Viva, viva Palestina!
Security officers are on site, keeping a close watch. McGill sent a notice to students saying that encampments are not permitted on campus. A spokesperson for the encampment did not give an answer on when the tents will be removed. And CTV's Tony Grace is following developments at McGill and joins us live with the latest. Okay, Tony, what's going on with the demonstration at McGill and also the response?
Yeah, Bakari, senior officials at McGill University meeting as we speak to discuss a response to what's been happening. And we know that what's been happening started at the beginning of the weekend when tents began to spring up on campus at McGill. And the university officials in a statement this morning say that the number of tents has tripled in size and that the situation, in their words, has shifted significantly. Now, the university says this: the number of individuals who've set up tents has tripled since Saturday. We've become aware that many of them, if not the majority, are not members of the McGill community. This is from McGill University officials this morning. And it goes on to say that they saw video evidence of some people using unequivocally anti-Semitic language and intimidating behavior, which is absolutely unacceptable on our campuses. We condemn this in the strongest possible terms and will act quickly to investigate. Now, unlike the breaking news that we're hearing from Columbia University in New York this hour, where demonstrators and those involved in an encampment have reportedly been given until 2 o'clock this afternoon to clear away peacefully or face suspensions, we haven't heard of any timelines attached to the situation at McGill. We're also watching a situation, Bakari, at the University of Ottawa, where a sit-in, as we understand it, is planned as a form of protest. University officials at the University of Ottawa saying that encampments and occupations will not be tolerated. Of course, all of this has been going on for about a week and a half now as demonstrations have grown in size at campuses across the United States, demonstrators expressing solidarity with Palestinians and demanding that schools cut their financial and other ties with Israeli institutions over Israel's offensive in Gaza. Now, this continuing to be a very fluid situation, so we're watching what happens at Columbia, at McGill, and at the University of Ottawa, and other campuses, of course. Should note, too, Bakari, that since the past week and a half or so, in that time period, there have been roughly 900 arrests across the U.S., and there have been counter-protests as well, with students in the Jewish community saying that these encampments, these demonstrations, make them feel unsafe on campus. So we certainly have some competing narratives here, some high emotions, and a fluid situation, Bakari, that we're keeping an eye on as we watch the timeline associated with the Columbia situation and that meeting that's underway at McGill right now to determine how officials are going to respond.
Well, Tony, are there any signs of where this movement is going next?
You know, if you talk to those involved in the demonstrations, they are vowing to stay right where they are until their demands are met. But we know that in the case of Columbia University this morning, which, of course, did set a deadline, we know that talks with university officials failed to produce any kind of agreement. The university saying it is not going to divest from Israel. So we're hearing varying degrees of responses. But in any event, Bakari, it does not appear to be enough to satisfy either of the parties involved in these discussions as those encampments continue to grow. By the way, here's a live shot as well from a campus protest. I understand this is coming to us from Wisconsin right now. So this is the type of scene we're seeing pop up across the U.S. At Yale, by the way, in Connecticut, a new encampment sprang up last night, almost a week after another one was dismantled, around 50 people arrested, and there were skirmishes at UCLA yesterday, too. So this is happening all over the continent as emotions over the war in Gaza resonate on campuses here in North America and as officials try to determine their next steps in dealing with these encampments, Bakari.
Okay, CTV's Tony Grace, thank you.
You bet.